y'all know what that music means. You guys know when that music kicks in, what's about to happen. What up, y'all? What it do?
It's time for Who's the Master?
Nice. We actually got it up top for once.
Yeah.
We always be forgetting.
Always, dude. Like I literally made it a point today when I was getting ready. Like that's the first thing I turned on. You know what it is? It's the device I'm using is hidden a little bit because you only have so much desk space.
Mm-hmm.
But now I've got it to where it stares me down.
What you talking about like me? I'm over here in the executive office, son.
Oh, shit. How about this?
What's going on? We got laugh tracks now. Listen, we're getting big time. We're getting big time. It's a little cold in my apartment. If you just saw the corner of my blanket pop up.
Dude, you know,
my blankie.
Oddly you say that. I mean, it is cold over here in D-Town, but I have been staying at my mom's because I'm house sitting for her right now. She's on a cruise, and I came back over here, and I've been here for about 5 hours this morning, and I still literally can't get it up to temp. I'm freezing right now.
Yeah. Well, speaking of freezing, you know what's not freezing? Movie news and that banner that we put up just for y'all. I'm a little cut off here. Let me go ahead.
Yeah, me too. There we go. Look at us. Look at us. We're both adjusting.
That's right. Hey, man, this is live. This is what happens when you go live and in color. Man, we got a lot to talk about.
Yep. I even tried to get some clothing appropriate to it today.
Oh, yeah. We got the Marvel hat going. We missed you guys on Monday. Sorry about that. We got a little busy. We had things going on. So we had to, we're adjusting. We're doing Wednesday and we'll do Friday again. We'll come at you live on Friday.
We'll always adjust somehow or another. We're just not the best at it. It was my fault this time. I had to go to do some work. So
yeah, he had to get a colonoscopy, guys.
I did. And I loved every second of it.
Yeah. He's got a bag now, but it's all good.
Now look, let me just say this. These are volunteer colonoscopies. They're not. They've told me it's like, look, you're not even of the age demographic yet. You don't have to come in here, but I enjoy getting them done.
Yeah. It feels good, right? You know, speaking of taking up the ass, a lot of people are upset on the internet right now, Bobo. So Screen Rant recently released their list of the most powerful Jedi. And boy, the internet is not happy, my friend. We're looking at the top 10 right here. I'm going to try to pull up the complete list. It's not pulling up for some reason, but let's go ahead and look at this top 10. Okay, up top, you got Yoda. A lot of people say no problem, right? Number 2, you got Luke. Okay, hey.
I'm cool with that.
For a lot of people, 1 and 2 are interchangeable. Here's where it gets live, kids. This is a very, very controversial character. She's divisive, to say the least. Number 3, Rey. Baba, what are your thoughts on the 3rd spot going to Rey?
First off,
give me your red pill talk, Baba.
I liked Rey in the first movie. I liked her in the second movie because it was still the same Rey from the first movie, right?
Right.
But then all of a sudden, they want to introduce that. Oh yeah, never mind. She isn't a nobody. She's the granddaughter of the Emperor, and it just was, to me, right away was the laziest writing of all time. And the whole part that made her different is that now, and you might argue with this, that like she was the one to truly bring balance, even though they're talking that Luke was the one, and then no, it was Anakin was the one to bring balance. No, now it's Rey the one to bring balance. And for me, I liked the fact that she wasn't just like this born and bred Jedi that they were on the hunt for. I liked the idea that she came out of left field and was sort of like this rogue, quote unquote, Jedi. But now they're making her like part of the family bloodline and everything. And I didn't see anything outside of her using 2 lightsabers to block off the electricity from the Emperor at the end of, and by the way, that whole thing was just a ripoff from Endgame. Instead of her saying, I am Iron Man, she says, I am all the Jedi. And it's the same timing and everything.
Mm-hmm.
To me, show me how she's the most powerful. That didn't show me anything. That didn't show
me.
Mary
Sue, dog. Listen, this girl needed no training. She got no training, and she was a Jedi in like 5 minutes. It was the easiest thing for her in the world to be a Jedi, son. That's why she's powerful. She got the power plot armor, man. Ain't nothing more powerful than that.
So you like the Rey as number 3.
Here's the thing: I don't like Rey as number 3, but she is number 3 because there's nothing the first movie she beat down Ben Solo, who's this Jedi, the Sith Lord. She beat him. I know he had an injured stomach or whatever. Give me a break, man. This girl literally had been a Jedi for like 10 minutes and she beat his ass. Right? So like listen, they had a lot of problems with Rey. When I first saw the Rey character, my old co-host and Aaron, named Aaron, we had just met, and this is the first conversation we had. Is he argued that Rey was a Mary Sue, and I argued back with him, not that she wasn't a Mary Sue, even though I think I said that, but really what I meant to say is, let's let the story play out. Because at first I had heard that they were going the direction of the reincarnation of the Force, or something a little bit grander in scale. I would have liked that.
Yeah, I think that would have, because that still is sort of on that believe. You have to believe.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, the reason bring back the balance of the Force doesn't work is because like you keep changing your mind about who brought balance to the Force. And you just, let's come up with a new story concept. You brought balance to the Force, and now because you brought balance to the Force has decided to, basically come forth as a being, right? And that being is Rey. That would have been, I mean, I know that I'm kind of workshopping in here, so it may sound kind of weak, but I think in principle you can kind of work around that premise and create something cool. And that's why I thought they were going for. It didn't end up happening. They just made her Emperor Palpatine's granddaughter, which you're right. How should that make her a powerful Jedi? Why? Just because she's the granddaughter of a Jedi? But if you let's just look at her, what she accomplished as a Jedi, she's obviously powered. It's stupid. There's no reason for her to be powered, but she is overpowered, right?
But you don't think that Obi-Wan is more powerful than her?
I mean, she did more in 5 minutes as a Jedi than Obi-Wan did.
I don't know.
She just barely needed training, man.
Yeah, but for me, I'm like, I don't know.
You're right. Listen, it's dumb. Yeah, it's dumb. I'm not saying that it was right for her to be.
I just don't like the way that she was sort of inserted into it. Again, up until The Last Jedi, I liked the character. But then, but I think we all agree. Everybody was unhappy with the way they just twisted that third film. Because
I think, listen, I like The Last Jedi. You like The Last Jedi. We liked it because it subverted expectations. With that being said, Rian Johnson completely screwed them story-wise. He came in and was like, I'm doing my story. I don't care how bad I F you guys over.
But hey, look, they said, okay.
Yeah. No, it's their fault, right? Yeah. I mean, so, that's where Kevin Feige is different. Kevin Feige would be like, no. And Ray would be like, well, I'm leaving. And Kevin Feige would be like, okay, this is the door. See you later.
Especially at this point, they can get whatever they want. Or whoever's interested. You know what I mean? Like, they're not going to go after Ridley Scott because he doesn't want to do those movies. So they're not even
listen, Marvel, Edgar Wright wanted to do Ant-Man. I love Edgar Wright.
I do too, man. I think he's great.
But it was obvious to me that Edgar Wright wanted to do something different. It's like, I want to do it my way. I don't care about what you guys have planned. And Kevin Feige was like, listen, man, you're great, but I got to keep in mind the bigger picture. So see you later, alligator.
And and that was the big selling point for Marvel, is the fact that you're combining all these threads. And so, like, yes, I understand why they wouldn't have used Edgar. And Edgar's a strong guy. And look, I honestly hate to say this about the fan base out there, but I think that Edgar would have maybe put a little bit too intelligent of humor in some spots that may not have landed with the Marvel community as much as the Peyton Reed stuff landed. The Paul Rudd stuff is going to land. Go ahead.
Breaking news. Bobo says Marvel fan base is stupid. You're not wrong, though. You're not wrong.
Because it's just a little bit of elevated humor that Edgar Wright has. I mean, there's certain jokes in Shaun of the Dead that I haven't even gotten until like 6 or 7 times later when I watched it. I'm like, oh my God, I just got that.
I know. You're right. He's great, man. Going back to the Jedi list, we got 4, we got Obi-Wan. 5, we got Mace Windu. 6, we got Qui-Gon. Come on, man. This guy was in one movie, and he got in that movie.
First off, you're sitting here telling me that Qui-Gon is above Anakin. And look, I understand this is Jedi, so you wouldn't call him Darth. You'd call him Anakin. But he is Darth. And for that matter, I think that 7 should be at least 3. And if you're going to say Rey's that powerful, she should at least be.
Here's the thing. Everybody says that because everybody loves Vader. But here's the problem, man. Ain't nobody in the Star Wars universe got their ass beat more than Anakin / Vader. Okay? He gets his ass beat by Obi-Wan on a volcano. He gets sliced up. He gets his limbs cut off. He has to become an android. And then, as a Sith Lord, he gets his ass beat by his son in front of his boss.
Yeah.
In that final movie.
Bad day at the office.
Yeah. You invite your son to work, trying to recruit him, and he beats your ass in front of your boss?
Well, okay, look, I guess there could be the emotional nostalgic attachment there too. We're talking about a character who's been a part of the pop culture for 4 decades, arguably the most famous villain of all time, him and the Joker.
Huh?
And then Ray comes along, and then I guess what it is this new character is ousting everybody. You know,
Mhm.
it's like this new kid in school
Yeah.
just took everybody's girl.
Yeah, and
Uh,
she's a girl on top of that, so you
right?
get
Yeah. It's
real
like,
weird about it.
damn.
Yeah.
I'm questioning my masculinity.
Yeah. Listen, Anakin, I wish my old co-host Cleese was on here because he's a Darth Vader stan. He loves Darth Vader. We argue all the time about Luke beating down Vader. He's like, well, if you read the books, he's holding back because Luke's his son. I'm like, I don't want to hear that noise.
This is a movie show, Cleese, not a book show.
Yeah, I don't want to hear that noise. He got his ass beat by Luke. All right. Going down the rest of this list, we got a bunch of people I don't know that you might know if you play the games or read the books. Kit Fisto sounds like a move that a porn actor would pull. And other than that, I don't have any thoughts on the rest of this list. I wanted to pull up the full list of the 30, but Screen Rant is down. So I wonder if some Star Wars fanboys took this list down.
Yeah, Anonymous got a hold of him.
Yeah. How dare you put Ray at number 3? Yeah,
Well,
that list is. Yeah.
I'm not gonna sit here and be like, it didn't make me mad. It made me laugh when when you sent me that. I think I sent you the Keegan laughing meme.
Yeah.
Because it did make me laugh. But
yeah, and the next meme you sent me was one that said "stupid girls."
no, it's not. I did not send that at all. But I'm also at the point with Star Wars is whereas I don't care about it like I used to because of the place that Disney's put it in. The place
Well, let
that
me tell you
Disney's
something,
traveled
man.
to. It just doesn't affect me like it used to. You know what I mean?
You are alone in that because internet went crazy. We even got some comments as Maniacs on fire right now. Awful movies. Anakin was there to take out Palpatine. But I mean, even that was like, bring back Palpatine. Yes, I agree. That was a dumb decision.
We all agree on that. That
Yeah.
was so stupid. And it was just like, oh, where do you have time to make all these Star Destroyers?
Yeah, why did you need
There's
to
hundreds of them.
Yeah, why didn't you just not take over earlier with all the Star Destroyers?
Yeah, remember like the Death Star took like the entire trilogy to make?
Yeah.
And it's like all of a sudden you had the time to just make all these Star Destroyers?
Mhm.
Yeah. Anyways, we could go forever about that, but I'm glad that we got all Ezzy tuning in. My boy Paul.
Ezzy, you're not going to watch Mandalorian 3? Season 3?
Oh.
Yeah, don't tell me you don't have zero interest. A lot of people say they don't have zero interest, but just takes the right property to bring you back, man. That's all.
No, look, Mandalorian is the one that I'm wanting to watch right now, like for real, because that's the only one that's actually when I'm gotten done with it, been like, all right, okay, let me say this. From the start of Mandalorian season 1 to the end of season 1, I was more satisfied by the end than I was by the first episode. The same with season 2. First episode, I'm like, all right, here we're going again. By the time I got to the very end, I was way more satisfied than I was at the beginning of watching that season. That's why I'm more excited about season 3 of Mandalorian. But with the way Obi-Wan Kenobi ended, it got me not excited about Star Wars. You know what I mean?
Maybe you can answer this question here, Bobby.
What does he hate about the Mandalorian? Is it that mechanic lady? I think it's that damn mechanic lady, the one that I hate too.
Well, as manic, people in Britain think ladies can't be mechanics. Is that what it is?
No, we don't like her delivery.
The acting on the mechanics.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, there it is. Yeah, her delivery is just like, hey. So, anyways, back at the doctor. It's too comedic. It's too. You know who that is? That's the lady from the Upright Citizens Brigade.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, that's the main lady that used to be on that show, or Strangers with Candy.
Listen, are you telling me a Star Wars property has bad acting? Get out of here.
Well, now what Star Wars does is they pull the list out and they're like, who haven't we hired yet?
Yeah, listen, all those movies, all those shows, although I hear Andor's got phenomenal acting. Bob, when are we going to watch Andor?
Man, you know, it's so funny. And we talked about it, and we both said the same thing. I just don't care. But I guess I do need to watch it because everybody says it's so great. But I don't want to see Shakespearean style acting with a Star Wars atmosphere behind them. I want to see Star Wars stuff. I want to see
Jedi and That's exactly what I want to see. I didn't know I wanted to see that until you said it, but Hamlet and Star Wars?
Yeah.
Come on, bro. I would watch the hell out of that.
Right? Baz Luhrmann's going to direct it.
Yeah. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to the next one. This one is going to get me triggered. Okay. Daredevil Born Again is going to be hiring some writers from, drum roll please,
Don't even say it. Do not say it.
The Arrow.
Okay. I thought you were going to say She-Hulk. I literally thought you were going to say that.
Somebody didn't read the list I sent him over. The
No, I must have glazed over that part of it. I apologize.
Listen, season 1 Arrow was dope. I like season 1 Arrow. It was darker because we were used to Smallville, and then the Arrow came in with this darker tone that we didn't expect. He's killing people, you know. He's not just a good guy. He's very vengeful. He's basically Batman, you know.
Yeah, he's Oliver Queen, rich dude, all that stuff. He's just not quite as tormented on the personal level like Batman is. You know, hasn't seen the same stuff with his own eyes as a child, but still the money, the privilege, all that, and uses it for good. And you know, Ezzy and I were talking about this the other day. First season, it was good. One of the two problems they did with that is they tried to jump on the Marvel train with their TV shows on the CW and try to just do this whole shared universe thing, which then made the Arrow sort of diluted, made that show start to become diluted. But also, Arrow never was like a person that had this just huge ongoing fan base in the comics with just a running title constantly. Yes, there'd be miniseries on Green Arrow. Yes, the Arrow would have his stint in major, huge team up story arcs and stuff like that. But you know, you never had issue number 800 of Green Arrow. And
one of the only decent things Kevin Smith ever wrote was his run.
Right. And a lot of people agree on that. But you see what I'm saying? There's not enough source material to make that long of a season in that, what was it, 7 or 8 seasons?
Yeah, no. Listen, it got stupid. And the CW is written for a female demographic. And when you try to mix writing in for that, along with just the fact that CW hires terrible writers, right? With
not talking about
shows,
Smallville, we're talking about now.
We're talking about all, yeah. Actually, you know what? They're like, I never watched Gossip Girl, but I have so many male friends of mine that are like, listen, man, my girlfriend made me get into Gossip Girl, and I got to tell you, that show's fire. Like, so many of my brother said that. So many guys I know have gotten that show because they're girlfriends, and they're like, dude, that show's actually good. Right?
Hey, breaking news, just since you're talking about Gossip Girl, they tried to bring it back on HBO because, you know, CW, HBO, all that, canceling it after 2 seasons. And for HBO to do that, that's not a good thing, you know?
Yeah, I mean, the show may just pass its time. Honestly, the way the show ended, I hear disappointed a lot of people, but it's based on a series of books that I believe are still ongoing. So you never, you know, the series of books, you never find out who the Gossip Girl is, and so
that's part of the sell of the story,
right? But yeah, so for the most part, I don't want to see anybody from the CW writing anything. I'm sorry, and She-Hulk either, for that.
Dude, I need that CW brand of whatever they try to, because what they do is they take properties and make their version of it. You know, you don't know now. That's like an ongoing thing that you know, Anshul.
It's because he's a grifter. As man, we need to let people know that he's a con artist. We need to make sure this guy quits doing work.
Good old Kevin Smith. I love you, guy.
You made enough money off conning people, Kevin Smith. Go retire. Go eat your face off. Go eat a bunch of pork rinds. Go get stuck in a Southwest Airlines seat. Just leave us alone.
Man, he is just going. Why don't you make fun of his heart attack?
He had a heart attack?
Yeah, remember I told you that's why he lost all that weight.
Yeah, that's why he got a stomach staple?
Yeah, I think
maybe he had to watch one of his movies. And it caused his heart to stop.
Jesus. What were we on though? I can't remember what I was talking about.
We were talking about Arrow and the writing.
Oh no, I was saying that whatever brand that CW does, because basically what they do is they just take properties of things and try to make a CW version. You know, to me, Supernatural and Smallville are the best 2 things that's ever come out of that. And even then, when it started, it was the WB, not the CW, when those shows started. Yeah. But dude, they just need to stop that brand of everything. Just stop making shows in the CW style. Because
I mean, as long as there's an audience for it, here's the thing, like, you know what sucks is we got drawn to CW shows because of comic book properties, but the reality is we're not their intended target audience. We never have been the demographic they're aiming for, right? So just stick to your demographic, man. That's all you need to do. And then, you know, if so many people out there like the entertainment, they like them. By the way, I forgot to put up the banner for the first, and I'm proud of that. Ranking the Jedi, you must. Yeah. So we'll go ahead and move on to the next story, guys. This is another banner I'm proud of. None of your business.
Oh,
so Netflix boss issues statements on controversial cancellations. Speaking with Bloomberg, Netflix new co-owner or new co-CEO, Ted Sandos said the following: "We have never canceled a successful show. A lot of the shows we were well intended, but talked to a very small audience on a very big budget." Speaking more specifically about Warrior Nun, which has drawn the ire of a lot of fans for its cancellation. I actually watched season 1 of Warrior Nuns. I'm not gonna lie, I like the show. I like the surprises. It really, we talked about subverting expectations earlier with the Last Jedi. Warrior Nun was a little bit the same way. Normally I'm very good at figuring out what the plot is going to be of a show, and this one surprised me a little bit. With that being said, I didn't like it enough to watch season 2. Warrior Nun season 1 dropped during the pandemic. Had a lot of free time. Don't really have that much free time anymore. So I don't know, Baba. What are your thoughts on all these cancellations and these hashtags? These hashtag groupies, guess basically being told, sorry, not sorry.
I think that first off, Netflix is in the business of making statements and then retracting them. So like they used to, like they had even I think you can pull it up on Twitter talking about like they encourage you to share accounts, with your friends. Friend sharing is so cool, and you can do this. And now they're about to charge you for sharing your, like for separate households, which I mean, I get it, but they're just retracting their stuff. And the way we've talked about this, the way they operate as a business is they're basically on an investor style. Like they're always owing money. They're never out. They're never in the clear.
Right.
But they always are growing and always producing mass content. However, they're always making layoffs, so it's like, and they greenlight way too many shows. It's just the same thing with Marvel greenlighting too much stuff with their little bracket. Netflix, I understand that they don't make them all. I understand that they license a lot of stuff and buy this from this production company and they put it on Netflix. Still, it's just too much, man. They need to narrow their scope. And I think by what they're saying, canceling some of these shows, do it. Just also stop greenlighting so many.
Yeah. So just to go to my finance nerd. So what you're saying is they've always been in the red. They've never been in the black, but neither was Amazon. So the way a lot of these digital companies work is they're in a race for consumer data. That's their currency, right? So what Netflix wanted to do at the beginning, the reason they encouraged sharing accounts is they wanted to try to get as many users to become or just basically rely on the platform and always go to Netflix. They want Netflix to be their number one choice for entertainment. And you always knew, like I would always talk to people who'd say, my brother's co-host, Andrew, was big on saying Netflix is going to fail. And my argument was, listen, they're not going to fail, at least not the way you think they are, because they have these revenue streams that they can always turn on. I knew they were always going to go to advertising eventually. I knew they were going to start charging for separate accounts eventually, because that's just easy revenue streams, right? And now the matter of the fact is Netflix has a ton of shows that people are crazy about. So now they can get away with doing all that. When they were encouraging people, hey, you can share accounts, they didn't have that same content library. And so they could very easily run the risk of losing users, but now they've got a lot of users that can't do without their Netflix. And so it's easy to turn on those revenue streams.
Well, here's the thing I also think about Netflix, and I know this from my own family, and that depending on how old you are, depending on how much you get into streaming and how much you're into television and stuff like that, people, just like certain people in America, especially down south, they refer to all soda as like, hey, bring me a Coke. What kind? Oh, I want a Sprite.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they'll say, oh, I want a Coca-Cola, but everything's a Coke. You know what I mean? And so it's kind of like Netflix. A lot of people are still in the frame of mind that Netflix is how you watch online content. I'm not saying everybody, because that's not the case at all. People like you and me, we know it all. But Netflix is my least watched platform for me. I watch Netflix less than any other one. It's only for shows like Cobra Kai, the occasional documentary that I'll hear about, some occasional show here and there. But for the most part, the new shows that are coming out on Netflix, I didn't care about Witcher. I tried it. I didn't enjoy it. I like the stuff coming out on Prime. I use Hulu because you can watch day after episodes that something came on TV last night. And then I do like a lot of like horror services and Peacock. Netflix is my very last one.
But did you get rid of it?
I what I'm saying is I can live without it. Yeah. But I share it off of my mom and my stepdad. And my mom, she doesn't know that these other platforms exist. She only thinks that she thinks that Netflix is how you watch online stuff.
Yeah. That's the thing, is they've captured a lot of users like that. And eventually, Bobo, they're going to come to somebody like you and they say, hey, listen, get the version with commercials. It's $8 a month or whatever. And I'm
fine with commercials.
Yeah. So you'll keep it, right?
Honestly, what I'll do is I'll have my mom and my stepdad just pay the $2 to $3 extra a month because they'd be fine with that, and I'll still get it for free.
So a couple comments here. I was sad about Jupiter's Legacy. I enjoyed it. As Maniac, you and I very much can disagree on that. I hated you. They should have just called it Daddy Issues. That's all that show was about, was daddy issues. And you know what's the worst? Is the dad's a good dad. What are you mad at? Oh, he didn't spend enough time with me because he's out saving the world. And he's encouraging me to be a better superhero. And
I never watched it.
Yo, this thank God that guy did not have Asian parents. Dude, if he had a tiger dad, he'd be catching whippings for not making straight A's, and then he'd know what it's really about, right? And this show was boring, man. It was so boring.
Is that what they call Asian dads? Tiger dads?
Mm-hmm. That's the term they thought of, right? I never knew that. I read the source material too, and it's different from the source material. And I think sometimes with Mark Millar properties, Mark Millar comic properties, sometimes the changes they make are for the better. I think Kick-Ass, some of the changes they made from the comic book were actually for the better, because in Kick-Ass, the comic book, Mark Millar is more interested in giving the middle finger to comic book fans than he is anything else. Did you know about some of the changes? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I was honestly got caught up in reading up these comments right here, and I got mixed up there. What changes were you talking about, though?
Kick-Ass.
Yeah, no, I did see the changes there, and I knew that Mark Millar had written Jupiter's Legacy, but I honestly didn't know anything about Jupiter's Legacy until it came out on Netflix. Then I found out that Mark Millar wrote it, so I never read that. But Kick-Ass, yeah, the entire ending of Kick-Ass is different.
Yeah, and I think it worked for the better. Like I said, I think in the comic book, he's a little too interested in giving the middle finger to the comic book fans, lovingly, but he's doing it, right? He does a lot of that. Same with the ending or the changes for Wanted. Now I think you could do the original version of Wanted where it's set in a world of superheroes, but back then when it came out, you couldn't do it, right? So yeah, but this one I think is the changes didn't work for the better. It just made it boring. As Maniac also said, Disney is his least favorite. He hates Star Wars though, so that
Disney, I'd say, is my second least one behind Netflix.
And now let's look at Derpy's comments since he read the title. Well, it was a great one, fellas. And why is that? Time to cancel the channel for the title. Hey, listen, man, we put a question mark. We put a question mark on it. We didn't put it's not a declarative, Derpy.
Yeah, there's a question mark on there. Ray better than Vader? Question mark?
Yeah. We didn't make the list. Go cancel Screen Rant. Somebody did. Their website's not working anymore.
Channel. And by the way, I didn't think that Vader was better, or that Ray was better than Vader. I think that Vader's better, but Anshul thinks that Ray is better.
No. I didn't say better. I said stronger. Ray's stronger. I mean, she is. Like, I think it's stupid, she's the strongest one. Like, because she don't need to do nothing. She's the girl that goes on YouTube and watches videos and learns how to fix everything. That's what she is.
Smarter, better, faster, stronger.
Derpy, they shouldn't even be in the same conversation. You're right. As characters, they shouldn't. But unfortunately, the way it's written, Ray can do anything. She's a Mary Sue,
Yeah. You remember how they had that movie Fanboys?
Yeah.
The guys trying to sneak into Skywalker Ranch.
Yeah.
I wonder if we should come up with a script about some dudes trying to make it to the person who created Ray.
Which was Kathleen Kennedy. That's exactly who it was.
She created the idea. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, listen, her and the actual writer.
If you're a fan of Finn, I mean, this is apparently why George Lucas fell out with Kathleen Kennedy, because he wanted a black Jedi. He's gone on record saying, I want a black Jedi. And Kathleen Kennedy's like, we're going to make it a woman, but tell you what, we'll have a black Jedi too. And then Finn is treated like a side quest character in all the movies. Like, no character got worse than Finn.
Yeah, no, I agree. We've talked about that multiple times. But what about Mace though, man? Didn't Mace just sort of get a short end of the stick? He's like not really in the movie, but in the movie.
Yeah, and he didn't even say one motherfucker.
Yeah, no, it's like, come on, you can't allow just one for Sam Jackson to see.
Yeah.
He's the only one that doesn't.
Is that his only role where since Pulp Fiction where he hasn't said the MF word?
I think he's been in some PG-13 roles here and there. I think, but even then, they may have just been cameos or something. That'd be a good one to look at, though. I'm gonna look at that.
Top 5 roles of his where he doesn't curse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or does it say this just motherfucker,
Yeah. We got to do more lists. We know you guys love lists, but let's move on to the next story title. Comic movies here to stay. I wanted to think of a clever title for this. Couldn't really think of one, but Kevin Feige was talking to the Movie Business Podcast. People will never get tired of comic book movies. From this is basically what he says. From probably my second year at Marvel, people were asking, well, how long is this going to last? Is the fad of comic book movies going to end? Feige said. I didn't really understand the question because to me, it was akin to saying, after Gone with the Wind, well, how many more movies can be made of novels? Do you think the audience will sell our movies being adapted from books? You would never. Fans, yeah, so that's basically what he's saying. Is like, listen, it's all based off literature. Most movies are based off literature. Sure. And so why would they get tired of comic book movies? Kind of, though. I get your point, Kevin, but not all books are the same genre.
You're always going to have a demographic for comic movies. I'll give you that. But right now, the way we are with them and the way that are being just pushed out all over the place. Yeah, we're not going to get tired of like maybe our favorite characters, main characters being in comic book movies. But even then, the rate that they're making them, they don't have the punch they used to have for me. I don't run to the theater like I'm just like, now I walk to the theater. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, cool. Another one where it's like, I remember, dude, when Endgame was coming out, I remember literally like having like that giddy feeling like a child. Like I was like, do y'all realize what we're about to see? You know what I like? And that's not happening anymore because we've gotten a lot of it, in a world where everything special is anything special.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think the streaming shows have kind of tampered down the enthusiasm. But yeah, I mean, listen, once again, and listen, we've had classic movies that are based off comic book properties that a lot of people don't know about. Two that come to mind: Road to Perdition and The History of Violence. Right?
Oh, straight up. And a lot of people didn't even know that Kick-Ass was based off of a comic book. Some people thought it was just a cool thing jumping on the bandwagon, but it is.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know Wanted was based off a comic book.
Nope.
So
Mark Millar again.
Yeah. So I see what he's saying. That hey, listen, there's a lot of comic books is a vast thing, but basically he's just kind of talking in circles because we know the type of comic book movies he's in charge of producing, and they're the mainstream comic book movies, and that's very much a genre, right? A niche genre, and so people can get tired of it. And so I do think that no matter what he wants to say, those are definitely valid. As Maniac seems to think the same thing. 5 years max on superhero movies.
I think it's already on the decline as far as the boom. It's still in the relevance of pop culture, but it was at the one point where like everybody saw Endgame. Even if you weren't a comic book movie goer, you went and saw Endgame, kind of like an Avatar situation. But it's not really like that with these newer ones. I don't know if everybody went and saw Wakanda Forever. I'm not sure everybody's going to go see Quantumania. But, Infinity War and Endgame, that was like people that weren't into it went and saw that.
As Maniac says, the core characters are gone. I will agree with you as Maniac, but I think the main loss is Robert Downey Jr. I think Robert Downey Jr. was very important to Marvel.
Yeah.
And my old host, Cleasy, was very big on that. And I think he's 100% right about that. They definitely lost something when he left. Going back to the last comment, I want to give some – go ahead.
No, I was just going to – but there was something there between him and Chris. And I mean the duality of the two. Like the whole like Boy Scout with the quippy smartass and them not really wanting to admit that they really cared about each other. Just their whole thing together was awesome. Not just to mention Robert Downey Jr. You know what I mean? Like I don't have any characters in the Marvel universe that have that sort of like, I love seeing them together on screen because of the whole nature. It's like the way we love reading Bruce and Clark in the pages because that's what they call each other. They don't call each other Batman and Superman. They call each other Bruce and Clark. So
you think you should be more careful with that though? Just like openly saying Bruce and Clark out in public, like, come on, man. How do you know somebody's not listening in on you?
Yeah, how do you know there's not some sort of like superhero villain with super hearing?
That'd be hilarious. That'd be hilarious if they did that movie where like they're just casually talking to each other, calling each other Bruce and Clark, and some bad guy's like, "Oh, I guess I know who you guys are now."
Oh, really, fools?
Yeah. Derby basically agrees that Rey was made for purposes of diversity. Me too. And there's a lot of people that say that, Derpy. I mean, there's a whole channel that built its popularity off that.
It has nothing to do with being a woman. To me, it just has everything from what I've witnessed that character doing and seen on screen. And yes, like you said, writing wise, maybe she did take this person out and beat this person. Maybe she did accomplish more, but it also haven't seen her on screen like I have the other ones. Haven't seen her in a bunch of games and in comics and pictures of them, you know?
Yeah, as Maniac. Realistically, how many people buy comics? I think the industry's doing pretty well, man. I don't buy them much anymore. I mean, I don't even have room for them anymore. But
it's not in the paper format as much as it used to be, but like the subscription services do pretty damn well.
Yeah, and there's some great content out there on YouTube if you're a comic book fan. Comics Explained. Guy named Rob runs the channel, super positive dude, has some great context on comics. He just loves comics, man. So if you're still in the comics, there's still some great stuff out there for you to check out on YouTube, and I think that's kind of driving the popularity of comics more because people now have forums to go talk about it, right?
And if you don't think that it actually still exists in like a real world format, just go to a Comic-Con one day or go to Madness Comics over here in Dallas and in Plano. Actually, I mean, you walk in there and you're like, oh, this is very much alive.
Shout out to Madness Comics, sponsor us. Sponsor us.
Hell yes.
Tag them in the YouTube video. Let's go ahead and move on to the next title. What another one I'm proud of. Oscar So Night. Batman fans are furious. Bobo, apparently there are some morons out there, and I say morons in a loving way, maybe, that think the Batman should have gotten more Oscar noms than the 3 it got, which I don't even know what they were for. I could care less, honestly. That movie was so boring.
Best actor, which it got, or best supporting actor, whichever. With Heath, it won that one.
No, that's The Dark Knight, right? The Batman, though.
Oh, you're saying the Batman? I thought
no, the Batman only got 3 Oscar.
Oh, you know what I thought you were talking about was the
you're skipping ahead a little bit. Yeah,
my fault. Yes, I went to the wrong graphic. This is the one. My fault. Yes. No, like I said, maybe sound design, maybe special effects makeup for Colin Farrell. I could see it maybe getting some nods for that, but it didn't deserve anything else. I'm sorry.
I'm about to pull up the list of Oscar noms, and let's see. Let's look at the Batman. Okay. VFX, sound, makeup, and hairstyling.
See, I said sound design and makeup.
Mm-hmm.
And that's fine. Because it did, like Colin Farrell, I think that's some of the best like actual makeup I've seen on.
Does the makeup beat Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, Elvis, or The Whale?
I haven't seen The Whale. I think it beats Elvis because don't get me wrong, Elvis was phenomenal, but I think Elvis is going to get costumes and it's going to get all kinds of other stuff.
What about Wakanda Forever?
Wakanda Forever was awesome, man. But for makeup, I don't know. Angela Bassett, I think she just deserves it. And yes, she had some emotional moments in that movie for sure. And Angela's just a badass. So I'm kind of just happy that she's on this streak right now. So I say yes for Angela.
Well, we're just talking about makeup and hairstyling.
Yeah, no, I don't think. I mean, yes, it's cool. They put a lot into it, but
when you throw in the and hairstyling, I think Wakanda Forever is going to beat it, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's cool stuff for sure.
Let's look at sound. It's up against. By the way, All Quiet on the Western Front was also up for makeup and hairstyling. I just haven't seen it. So sound, All Quiet on the Western Front, Avatar, Way of Water, The Batman, Elvis, Top Gun, Maverick. I would think Top Gun, Maverick, and The Way of Water would beat out The Batman.
Yeah, and I would even think maybe Top Gun Maverick just because of the like sort of the panning sounds of the jets and all that. And
and then VFX, it's up against Avatar, Way of Water, and Black Panther, and Top Gun. I think it's going to go to Avatar, obviously, right? And then secondly would be Black Panther above the Batman, right?
I just don't think that. Batman is good. We've said this. It's well made. It just you got to do better for me than that for a Batman.
Yo, there's a graphic we have. We didn't put up any of the graphics of our ratings because there's one in particular, the mid rating, really mid, that I think we need to throw up for that movie.
Yeah.
Because the farther I get away from that movie, it wasn't that good.
No, I mean, like I think it's like a package of something that's like, man, look at this. This should be good.
Yo, Derpy's coming at you. You're just a biased Marvel fan.
Wait, I'm a biased Marvel fan?
Yo, Derpy, you may not know this. Bobby is a huge Batman fan. Yeah. That is his. Yo, when he got married, his wedding cake was a Batman wedding cake.
Yeah, dude. Like I'm a massive Batman fan, and I've never I just think Marvel did it way better for so long. But I've also said that Marvel is going down right now. I don't think the Batman was that good. I think that the Dark Knight trilogy is way better. I remember watching the Dark Knight Rises, and the and Batman Begins right after the Batman, and it gave me the feels. Oh, dude, see, you and I are not getting along right now. That's coming. Look, you are talking to somebody who has been collecting Batman since I was a little kid. Just to say this real quick, I went through the death of my father and a divorce right in the same time, and my dad died extremely tragically. Batman is one of the few things that got me through all that because of what he went through. And I know it's a fake character, but these are things that I used. I use Batman in my life as a core. I have a tattoo, a scar, a literal scar of the bat symbol on the side of me. Dark Knight, to say screw the Dark Knight, to me, I'm sorry, that sounds like somebody that doesn't understand the character of Batman. So
no, that's not entirely fair, because the Dark Knight took some liberties with the character of Batman,
but
right?
screw the Dark Knight? Come on.
Listen, I agree with you. The Dark Knight is way superior to the Batman, but I don't think that means he doesn't know the character. He might be younger. I don't know, Derpy. I don't know what your age range is, but I just don't understand how the Batman. First of all, the action scenes were horrible. Like, why is this dude always just punching? Does he not know how to mix in a kick? Maybe he needs to watch some Bruce Lee movies.
The score was not good. The tone of the movie looked the exact same color the entire time. I'm sorry. It just
I'm going to disagree with you on this one, Derpy, because the main reason I can't agree with you on that is there's no dichotomy between Bruce and Batman.
No,
and that's one of the most important aspects of that character, right?
Yes, using Bruce for the good to where he can support Batman's underground thing, and he doesn't even care as Bruce in this. He's an emo kid as Bruce, and I just don't think that the Alfred and Bruce relationship in the Batman was just dead. I don't.
Yeah, he's such a dick to Alfred. Which, yes, he's always a dick to Alfred, but this one, Alfred's in a coma, and the first thing he says when he wakes up is like, "How come you didn't tell me about my dad?" It's like, yo, homie, you want to say "Hey, you okay? You just want to throw me a little something?" And
Batman is not only a detective. Batman has multiple components that make Batman who he is. He's extremely smart, which makes him understand that I need to utilize my character of Bruce Wayne, not just put him in the corner and make the world wonder what's up with Bruce Wayne. Because think about this. You got this Batman character doing these things from underground of Wayne Manor, all these things he's been doing from under Wayne Manor. And at some point, if Bruce Wayne just wants to be reclusive, that's not the smartest thing to do for your secret identity, because some people, the public, you're a public figure, they're going to go after and try to see what's up. That's creating more of a chance for somebody to find out that you're Batman. So the whole approach to that in the Batman was wrong. I'm sorry.
I didn't like emo Bruce. I didn't think it was fun. The Dark Knight is good because the villains, Bale is ass, is basically what he's saying, or butt, Listen, Batman, a lot of people make that case about Batman as a character. He's great because his villains are great. And I don't want to get into this. I don't want to dive too much into this because we could do a whole video. Bobby and I have talked in depth about how I think the character is broken and needs to be fixed. And I have several ideas on how to do that. And we need to make that video sometime. But I will say, Derpy, I really appreciate that you like the Batman. I know there are people out there that do like the Batman. But
I definitely appreciate everyone's opinion. Batman I'm passionate about.
For me, the Batman was decent, and it gets a little too much love. And the reason I'm bothered by that is I do think, and I know you agree with me on this, Bobby, there are some very, very promising things about that movie. And I think if it got a little bit more criticism, the director would be able to go back and fix those things and really make a truly magnificent movie. I just think it's getting overpraised, and I think that's a negative thing for the next installment, because I hope he realizes, listen, there are things, Matt Reeves, I'm saying, there's things I need to fix that could be better. And I
love almost every one of Matt Reeves' movies too. Like Cloverfield, my favorite monster movie of all time. I think he did a great job of Planet of the Apes, Let the Right One In. I mean, he's done so many other things that I really enjoy. I just am not sure that he understands what this character truly is about. And it's not just about this dark, gritty Seven detective thing. That's just not what it's about.
I think Derpy would love the detective aspect. It seems like that spoke to you. And listen, a lot of people have been missing that from the Batman movies, and we're going to wrap this up here in just a second. I get it, Derpy. But yeah, unfortunately, I'm going to disagree. I would have liked to see a movie that combines maybe the strong aspects of the Nolan movies with the detective aspects. Maybe you wouldn't need to do. Maybe just DC needs to grab their balls and do a series, a good
Like,
series on HBO.
when Val Kilmer and Alfred figured out in Batman Forever, that was perfect.
Yeah. Batman Forever. I still can't watch that entire movie. I've tried so many times. I can't get through it, man.
I like Batman Forever. I just Batman and Robin is the funny one. That's the one that's hilarious. That has Mr. Freeze.
Well, do we want to go through, see if there's the Oscar noms have been announced? Did we notice anything completely promising that we want to talk about? Oh, I know what I want to talk about. There's something that I know that Baba wants to talk about as well. Can you guess what that is?
Let's see.
It's your favorite genre, animated feature.
Oh, all right.
We got Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio. I heard a lot of bad things about that, so I haven't watched it.
I've heard good things, but I've heard bad things from the people that were wanting to see the Disney Pinocchio movie, and then they watch a very adult version of the Pinocchio story. And that's the thing; it's a public domain story, so you don't have to have the rights.
Anything that you saw, best director, best supporting actor, best actress, actor, in any of those categories that you think stood out to you? I mean, Top Gun getting nominated is big, I think.
I just wish that I don't understand why Avatar 2 is not put into Best Picture.
It was
for Oscars.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't. I saw this morning that I only saw 5 noms this morning, and I didn't see that one.
All Quiet on the Western Front, Avatar: Way of Water, Banshees of Inisherin. I don't know how you say that. Elvis, Everything, Everywhere, All at Once, The Fabelmans, Tar, Top Gun: Maverick, Triangle of Sadness, and Women Talking. Which,
gotcha.
What is that last movie? I didn't even know that movie existed.
Women, it's not even out yet. I think it's coming out like this weekend. I will say this.
Women Talking sounds like my nightmare, son. Okay.
I think it is. I think it's any man's nightmare as far as, because I think it's definitely kind of a man bashing film. I think I'm not 100% on that, but
yeah, that's what it is. When women are talking, you just have to sit there and listen. And no matter what happens, you can't say nothing. As soon as you say something, you lose. That's the whole game.
I divorced because of that. No, look, what I was going to say is that there's one thing I feel like that can beat out Avatar: Way of Water, and I would understand it. What I'm saying is like with Hurt Locker beating it, I didn't understand that. But if there's one that beat this one out and I would understand it, it would be Everything Everywhere All at Once.
I think the Banshees of Inisherin is going to win it. Even though I haven't seen it.
I haven't seen it either.
There's sometimes you watch a trailer and you're like, that movie was made as Oscar bait, and it's gonna catch its hook, man. It's like perfect bait, right? I think it's gonna win it. The Fabelmans, though, the Fabelmans is a love letter to Hollywood, and we know how Hollywood loves love letters to themselves. So I can see that winning as well, right?
Yeah, it's just
that's the sad thing about the Oscars these days. Is you just have to look at what strokes off the critics.
You have to play by a set of rules. Yeah.
It's not even the set of rules. It's just like, what are they going to stroke themselves off of?
What mood are they in this year?
Yeah. And then, of course, we got Best Actor, Austin Butler, Elvis, Colin Farrell, Brandon Fraser, The Whale, Paul Mescal, After Sun, Billy Knightley. I guess the big headline here is, will Brandon Fraser win? Because a lot of people thought he got hosed.
Because the whole Golden Globe comment.
Yeah.
I think he has a chance at winning. I do.
Mm-hmm. And then Best Actress.
It's later in his career, and that's a thing that kind of that happens in the Oscars. Either you're really young and you don't even know fame yet, and you get an Oscar, or you get one when you're in your 60s.
And then I guess Best Supporting Actor, the big thing here is, will Hoi Kwan win for Everything Everywhere All at Once?
He's the everybody's saying that he's going to get it. He was great in the movie, and it's like, come on, man, that's Data in Short Round. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
He deserves to get something. He's a part of 2 of the most pop culturally well-known films out there, Temple of Doom and Goonies.
Yeah. You know what? I mean, know that I think about Everything Everywhere All at Once could get some major Oscar love. Because I feel like
nominations. I
feel like after decades of ripping off, other cultures, the Oscars are finally trying to make right and say, all right, we're gonna toss some noms their way. I mean, we stole enough ideas from them. We can toss some wins their way. But we'll see. I mean,
have you seen it?
No, I've heard great things though.
Oh yeah, it's definitely your style of movie. As Maniac.
Yeah, nobody likes the Batman. Damn, people are fighting today in the comments and on here.
Derpy, listen, I love you, and I'm so glad that you tune in. And I don't want anybody to ever withhold their opinions. It's all good for us to have opinions. I'm just telling you what I think. But I definitely please send in the comments always. This has been good. We've got a lot of comments today.
Year one was emo. I'll give you that, Derp. It was emo, but I loved it, man. That's God, the guy that
But
wrote
the
year
year
one.
one's also with him still trying to process and understand who he is. He hasn't established the ideas of I am this Batman. I know that the Batman is supposed to be year 2, is what they say. And I know they're kind of going off of the Zack Snyder or the Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo run. That's what the Batman is kind of pulling from.
As man, I like the riddles in this were good, and they actually
caffeine will kill ya.
Batman Forever is awesome. Come on, Asmaniac, listen.
Hey, Asmaniac have special love for that movie, but it's
listen,
not.
I know the British like bland food, but you don't have to like bland movies, all right?
It's the way I would love. It's the way I love Friday the 13th. It's the same way I love Batman Forever. I'm not going to sit here and tell someone it's amazing, but I do have love for it, and I think there's good parts of it. I really do. Batman Forever is where they fell off of it.
Do people care about Oscars now? No, they never have. They did back when we didn't have all this content to watch, but now you have better things to do and watch Oscars. However, we still got to talk about it.
Hey, but Oscars last year, like lowest ratings like ever, as far as people actually tuning in. And then that year from like 3 years prior, the drop from just those 3 years was astronomical. Like people are just not, they just don't care because all the shows they're watching are not on this program. They're watching Netflix shit. They're watching all these streams. None of the things they're watching are actually in these movies. And half these movies that are nominated, none of us know about until we see them nominated.
Yeah, listen, that's the problem we have with a lot of movie critics and the film industry in general. It's very elitist, right? And so these Oscars don't speak to us, the common man. Frank Miller, you're right. That's the name I was looking for. I did remember that right after you said it. He wrote Year One. Also, Frank Miller really fell off the cliff if you've read any of his recent stuff.
I think he's crazy. I think he's lost his mind, honestly.
Bring it, bitch. Bring it. America, man. We're about to be 1776 all over again up in the bitch. No, I'm just kidding, Asmaniac. I got love for you.
Oh, yeah, but you got, I love the you and Asmaniac will get along very well. Y'all are very similar.
I imagine so. He seems like a great guy. Got a good sense of humor.
He's more on your approach with things. Like he's the one that's always telling me, like, are you serious? You like that shit?
Yeah. Well, you know what, Asmaniac, if you dare to come at me, I'm going to beat your ass with the power of a million exploding suns, which brings us to our next story. There has been a potential leak of the villain in the new Thunderbolts movie. The Twitter handle @CanWeGetToast. I don't know. Can you? Sorry, a little grammar humor for you. Reports the Sentry will be the big bad for the Thunderbolts. Bobo, are you familiar with the character of the Sentry, and how do you feel about this news?
I am very familiar with Sentry, and you know how I got familiarized with him is when Brian Michael Bendis was doing his good and popular run on the New Avengers, and he brought that character back and basically took him from just a kind of known character into sort of a known character.
You missed the good part of the Sentry. The comic that originally introduced him was really cool because the way they introduced him is they almost made you think that they'd actually found a long lost character, because they would include all these stories with the Sentry that were supposed to be quote unquote from the 50s or 60s, and then they would put the pages in the comic book, but they would style them and make them look like original comic book pages from the 50s, 60s, and 70s. So it makes it seem like, oh, there's this character. Wasn't it really this character called the Sentry that nobody remembers, or that we just don't remember as fans because it was very brief?
That's what I'm talking about. Like they were showing him like they like the first time you saw him was at the end of an issue, and they opened up and he's sitting in this jail cell, and it's like barely a silhouette of him, and you just see his eyes, and he's got that long hair, and he's sitting down. No,
yeah, that's after the introduction. I forgot who wrote the story introducing him. It was very cool, and then of course the big twist is the villain, the Void, which you kind of figure this out is the Sentry, and that's why people had to forget it, right? Him and Reed Richards and all the most brilliant minds of the world made people forget him. And that was a good way to end it. And then they kept bringing him back, though, because he's a super powerful character. And guys like Brian Michael Bendis, who are TV writers, basically, in comic book form, decided they needed to, bring him back. The Sentry, dude, if he's written right, if he's written correctly, is this literally insane villain with, bipolar disorder or multiple personality disorder. And, he's super powerful. It could be a very, very intriguing, interesting character. The whole Thunderbolts, though, the anti-hero thing is hard to pull off, man. Look at Suicide Squad.
Well, you can't. I think that they're going to do it right with Namor, though.
Mark Pillow, man, poor guy. He didn't get to do the voice of his own character.
No shit. You know, he filmed that whole thing, and then when he's watching,
Yeah.
he realizes that it wasn't his voice.
Yeah, it's like, why do I sound like Gene Hackman?
Yeah. No, I think that the Sentry is going to be cool, and I think that when you do villains that go from villain at first, and then you realize that they're not bad on the inside, they're just not a nice guy, and I like that. And
He would be introduced the opposite, right? Though he would probably show up as a hero, and then you find out he's the villain.
Well, and that I think would be better because it clearly they're doing the Namor thing. Is they're not, because Namor's never been a hero. He's always been an anti-hero, but he's never been a villain either. He's not, I mean, maybe to a villain to certain people, but not to the reader. The reader was never like, I hate Namor. You always wanted to like Namor for some reason because you knew there was something there.
Yeah. So what the Sentry's different though is that he is both. He's literally both, right? He's got two halves of his personality. One is this basically Superman analog, and the other one is this super evil entity called the Void. Now they've changed it up, and there's you know how comics are.
But I'd like for them to end it the opposite the way of Namor, like you're saying. Like I'd like for him to be hero first and then turn, like that would be good.
Well, the way the character backstory is, he doesn't realize that his arch nemesis, the Void, is the other half of him until later on. That's why he makes people forget him, including himself, hoping to bury that side of his personality and thus bury that evil that lives inside of him. But at the beginning, he thinks there are two. You think as fans, although most fans were able to
Fight Club.
Yeah, that's very much Fight Club. Great analogy. Yeah, so that's very much what it's like, right? What his character's like. So not truly an anti-hero. I think they have kind of changed that, though. I think they have kind of merged them, like Hulk back in the day, and made them kind of an anti-hero or whatever. But you know how comics be.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, I mean, when you're making that much stuff, there's a lot of bad comic stories out there.
It is schizophrenia, Bob. Schizophrenia or multiple personality disorder, I think, would be a better way to put it. But yeah, he's basically.
Well, which is the one where you hear voices? Is that
schizophrenia when you hear voices, okay. Right? Yeah. So he doesn't hear voices. He just doesn't know he's the Void.
Right. He just doesn't know he's back. It's not like Spectre is schizophrenic. He actually hears voices.
Right. My grandmother is schizophrenic.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, God rest her soul. But yeah, no, she's not the Void though. So at least I got that working for me.
We were all worried. Glad to clarify she's not the Void.
Yo, speaking of me, I called it. Listen, I say a lot of brilliant things on the show. That's why you guys people need to pay attention. I'm always calling stuff. And I definitely call it this time. Franchise producer John Landau, also father of disgraced movie writer Max Landau, who got Me Too'd into oblivion, suggests the Empire magazine Quattrich could be redeemed in Avatar 3. I told you that's the way they're going to go.
Well, I mean, I think that after you explained it to me, I'm agreeance. Like once you said that, now think about the story arc. If they're going to make this a trilogy story, and then the next 3 movies about the kids, because sure that Jake will die at some point, and I mean it makes sense because I could even see him sort of like picking up the flair for Jake to try to like do something in another movie in Jake's name, because then you have a character you've seen go from one point to another point. So I agree with you. I think that if he doesn't get the redemption, then it'll just seem like another bad guy.
And this is coming off the news. I said that I think that there's going to be an alien entity that comes in where the Na'vi and the humans have to unite. They have not really suggested that's what it's going to be, but James Cameron has suggested that the Fire Na'vi might be an enemy. And I wonder if they're going to be the people that unite both of them. I would think, though, that the reason I lean towards a different alien race is, at the end of the day, it's a movie that's about the environment, right?
Right.
And so the end goal, like I said, it doesn't make a statement unless you have humans learn their lesson about the environment and learn to appreciate the environment. That's supposed to be the final goal of that.
Yeah, that's just, I mean, James
message, right?
That is with this whole thing.
Yeah.
He literally said those words.
And since the Na'vi basically live off nature, it makes me lean to the fact that he's going to introduce another race. But, I'll figure it out, and I'll let you guys know ahead of time. That's what's going to happen, right? Because that's the way I do.
Yeah, I know James emails you.
Yeah. James and I are tight like that. He's always looking for story ideas, always bothering me.
Right.
Trying to figure out how to make a story better. I gotta tell him, James, unobtainium. That's the dumbest thing ever. And then sometimes he just does what he wants to do. He gets made fun of. Just listen to me, James. Why don't you do it, man?
Yeah, putting Jermaine Clement in your movie.
Yeah, let's see. Still have zero interest in Avatar. I'm sorry, guys. I do not see the buzz for it. Buddy, have you seen it?
No, he's one of those guys he's not going to open his mind up about it. I ain't hating on you, Ezzy, and I'm not, but he's not going to see it. He just won't. So I stopped trying to get him to tell him how much he would.
Is this a Brexit thing? Did you Brexit the Avatar franchise?
Well, I don't think he can get out to the theater as much like we can. But I know that he's talked about going to see it with a certain someone, and I've encouraged him he needs to go see it in 3D while it's still in 3D, because that's where you're going to get the full enjoyment out of it as the experience.
I agree. Listen, as man, if you watch it on the small screen, you're not going to like it. The visual, the VFX is the big part of the movie, and it's an experience. It's a cool experience. So I definitely.
But I mean, the story is better in this one. Like I say better. It gets more of an emotional tone to it, and they do carry on more stuff happens to carry the story further. It's not just a rehash of part one.
Agreed. By the way, I think the story will come full circle in Avatar, just like this podcast is about to come full circle with this plot point.
Love it.
Spielberg stands the Dark Knight. Derpy, yeah, if you're still here.
I think Derpy may have left. I think I made him mad.
Oh man, damn it, Bobo. Because then you'd really be able to one up him on this one, because Steven Spielberg also thinks The Dark Knight was great. In fact, he tells Deadline that Dark Knight should have earned a Best Picture nom, according to Deadline. I'm really encouraged by that, Spielberg said of the Top Gun and Avatar sequels getting nods for Oscar nominations. It came late for the film that should have been nominated a number of years ago, Christopher Nolan's The Dark Knight. That movie would have definitely garnered a Best Picture nomination today. So having these two blockbusters solidly presented on the top 10 list is something that we should all be celebrating. So
I agree. I think it's awesome to finally give nod to the idea that it doesn't have to be someone giving a theater style performance in their lines, and it doesn't have to be an ode to Hollywood to be an Oscar contender. It's like, what about the fact that these people have spent 24 hours a day for the last 6 months working on this movie? That doesn't account for anything, So I agree with him. These movies deserve to be included.
Yeah. So FYI, basically what he's saying is suck a dick for all you people that hate comic book movies, including you, Martin Scorsese. You can suck a dick for it's not cinema comments.
Yes, I'm sorry.
I
love Martin Scorsese, but that's just a terrible statement to make about people that are in the same industry as you.
Yeah, listen, we all know you're salty because the producers are giving them all the money, and you want the monies. And I get it. I get where you're coming from. But come on, man.
But are there people out there telling
Martin Scorsese sprinkling all that salt in there? Huh?
Are there really people out there telling Martin Scorsese no?
No.
Okay.
Maybe amusement park rides.
Yeah, the Goodfellas ride.
They're like, yeah, listen, you gotta be this tall, Martin. Sorry, buddy.
You know what? They could do a Gangs of New York stunt show, though. They could do that, like a fight up the streets and everything.
Yeah. Okay, next story. Enter Sandman again.
I thought this show was canceled.
That came out a while ago. That wasn't canceled. Neil Gaiman basically was saying, hey, listen, I don't know if it's going to get picked up because it's expensive, but basically he was posturing, and Netflix caved because that movie was #1 on their streaming list for a hot minute, right? So you knew there was going to be season 2.
Show, not movie, right? Yeah.
I mean, yeah, a show. So you knew it was going to be, greenlit, and now they've started filming. Did you like season 1? Did we ever talk about that?
You're gonna hate me, dude. I didn't watch it.
Jesus Christ.
I wasn't into the Sandman comic though as much as you were though. I mean, I was definitely very aware of it.
Did you read it?
No, that's what I'm saying. I wasn't into it. I never really picked it up much. I liked it. I thought it was cool when they incorporated Sandman at the very beginning of Kingdom Come. Like I was like, oh, that's cool. They're incorporating this other guy that's not necessarily supposed to be in the DC universe, but in this Elseworld story, they put him in there.
The list of shit Bobo needs to watch for this podcast is growing by the day.
Oh, hey, then you want me to make my list?
Yeah.
All right. No, look, I just am not comic book stuff. The most comic book stuff that I read is usually capes. Sorry, it just always has been. And Sandman,
it's a weird thing that he's like, the art isn't real or animation isn't real. because it's too surreal.
I have not said
But
one bad thing about the Sandman. I just told you I just watched it. It was not something that.
but okay, let's back this up, right? So animation is too unrealistic for you to watch, but you need superhero shows that are unrealistic for you to watch.
No, I'm telling you, animation. It's about the visual medium that it's in that is not making me like it anymore. Sandman, I want to watch the show. I will, but I wasn't just running to it because I wasn't familiar with the source material.
He was busy watching Hunter.
Yes, I was. Rick Hunter's a badass, along with Dee Dee McCall. Don't you forget it.
All right, well, we'll get Bobo. I mean, listen, man, we got to figure out some shows that are going to help us get these viewer numbers up. So,
Well, the last thing I want to start doing is watching a bunch of stuff because the whole point of this is to do stuff we like, right?
yeah, no, but we also want to build a community and have comments like we're getting today and tons of comments. And so sometimes we got to bite the bullet and maybe watch stuff we don't want. I think you'll like it though. That's the thing is like I think once you watch it, you'll actually really like the Sandman. Especially as a aspiring director, I think there's a lot, especially about the first episode that you love. Now, the second half of the series does slow down a little bit, but we all knew there's going to be season 2, and it's not like it gets awful. It's just not as good as the first half of the series. And it's 7 episodes, 6 episodes, something like that.
Yeah, and a lot of it has not me. It's not me sitting there being like, no, I'm not going to watch that. It's like putting things in a line and seeing what I'm going to watch. Because like between going to see movies, trying to finish editing, getting stuff up with this podcast and everything, there is only so many hours in the day. And, there are, again, other shows that are coming out that are still on, like Last of Us, and I will have the time to watch Sandman at some point. And I'll probably do like when Sandman 2 is coming out, I'll probably do like in one night, one day go through Sandman, start it that morning and finish it at like 10 at night or something.
Well, let's we got a couple of things to get past. So let's kind of hit up some of these real quick. Squid Games in real life. Apparently, Netflix is doing a Squid Games game show.
Yeah, I saw
Day one already injuries in the red light green light game, which I think is hilarious.
Well, one thing you have to know, there's going to be that. I mean, when you have that many people, there's going to be injuries. Sorry, I mean, look at what happens when you have a 5K.
Ewan McGregor. Looking for Obi-Wan season 2. Says he hopes it happens. Let's read his comments here real quick. I was so happy to do it again and so happy to work with Hayden again. And I hope we get the chance to do it again. In the old days, I would joke about there must be a good story to tell in between episode 3 and 4. But that's true. Listen, Ewan, not a lot of people agree with you. So I don't think you can get that to your wish, buddy. Sorry about that.
Well, and again, they should have made it a movie. But even the 6-episode series, you're already, okay, there's one story. Cool. But now if you start telling 20 stories in between episodes, that takes away the part of what was so cool about Star Wars is like between each movie, so much time has passed. You know what I mean? That was kind of part of it. It was like, here's a new implementation. So like, it wasn't just a write off but I mean, if we have 3 Obi-Wan stories, then we're going to know every second of everything that happened in between part 3 and 4.
Yeah. Let's move on to the next one. I agree with you on all that. I got nothing to add to that. Also, I was dealing with the fact that a YouTube video just randomly started playing on my on one of my open browsers. So sorry about that if you guys heard that.
I didn't hear it.
Okay. James Cameron loves Tollywood. This is just me throwing in some stuff from my people. Some of you may have watched RRR, Netflix movie, Tollywood movie, which is the South Indian version of Bollywood that came out and got a lot of love. Came out on Netflix and got a lot of love, or actually maybe Amazon Prime, and got a lot of love. And apparently one of the people that loved it was James Cameron. He met up with the director of the movie, I believe in the Golden Globes, Rajamouli, and made sure to praise the movie in front of him and he said some very flattering things. Rajamouli was heard as being quoted as saying, "These words from you are more than a word for me. I mean, I can't believe that you saw the film and you're analyzing my film. Oh my God." Cameron added how much he loved the score from the film, composed by M.M. Kiravani, calling it amazing, and said it even made him want to stand up at certain moments. I like the music to kind of stay out of the way and kind of come in and support the audience when it's ready, already feeling something, so it builds the theme. But you're using the music very differently. He opens his eyes, boom, and you go with it, and blah, blah, blah. Basically, just said he loved the movie. That was per Joe Blow. And so I just wanted to
that guy won the best song at the Golden
Yes.
Globes. The guy you were just talking about.
So I still haven't watched RRR. I need to watch it. A lot of my friends love it. A lot of people, that I don't watch Bollywood movies, usually my white friends basically, have seen it and loved it as well. So if you watched it, let us know.
Yeah, that's one that we should definitely try to get on the big screen over here. That'd be fun.
Yeah. Did you know they're working on Gladiator 2? I did not, but apparently they are working on it. It's been delayed. The star is off filming something else, and I'm trying to pull up the story right now. But
what's the premise?
It's Paul Mescal. Who knows? Who cares? This movie is not only 40 years too late, but why did that movie deserve a sequel? I mean, it was a great movie, but what about that movie is set up for a sequel?
It's one of those movies that it's the beginning to end finish, and that's it. That's the story.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't need to anything past that is trying to make money off of the IP. You're just trying to do a money ploy.
Here's an idea for a title of a new video series, Trailer Park, where we talk about trailers that we missed that we should have talked about 2 weeks ago. A couple trailers dropped. Ant-Man's final trailer.
That's good. I didn't know you were going to do that. Yeah.
And Quantum Mania, or I'm sorry, not Quantum Mania. That's the Ant-Man. And Mandalorian season 3. Brief thoughts on those two trailers?
Look, I'm excited about Mandalorian just because it satisfied me thus far. Like I said, from the beginning of each season, I've been more invested by the end of those seasons than I was at the beginning. So I'm like, cool, let's see some more of that. And I do like the sort of Westerny vibe that they got going on with it. The soundtrack is badass for Mandalorian. And the whole Grogu thing, that's awesome. Now, the fact that Grogu's in it, I kind of thought that Luke took it.
I'm confused. Why is he in it? Did he do the race school of 5 minutes of training and I'm Jedi? I'm good.
Or we're gonna find out that Grogu taught them everything they needed to know, and then
it's like he took Grogu on the X-wing, it flew off, and then 5 minutes later did a U-turn. He brought Grogu back. He's like, all done.
Yep.
See you later, guys.
That was quick.
Yeah.
Or
Kid's natural.
Grogu started breaking a bunch of shit in Luke's ship, and he was just like, I can't handle this kid. Turns around.
Yeah. Maybe Luke is just bad at teaching people because just teaches them very half-assedly and it's real short training sessions. So I don't know what's going on with that, but
they forgot to CG.
What was that?
No, I was just gonna say Grogu's like, yeah, they forgot to CG Luke on the way back, so I'm back, guys.
Now let's talk about we got last on here.
So Quantumania, though, I am very excited about. I just wanted to let you know because since you brought up both trailers, very excited about Quantumania because I do think that Marvel is very aware that after Thor: Love and Thunder, they needed to literally take an immediate left turn.
Mm-hmm.
And Wakanda Forever proved that they were understanding that a little bit more. And Ryan Coogler, I do like him as a director, so I was faithful. I trusted him. And Peyton Reed, thus far, has done a really good job. This does seem like it has more severity to it. I think this is going to be a big event movie leading into Kang Dynasty. I think that, which is going to be the event movie before Secret War.
Yeah, I think Kang looks like they've done a really good job with Kang, and it's set up for some good things. And it looks like you just answered Esme's question. So,
yeah, I do feel like that, kind of the way that the Ant-Man movie started setting up Infinity War, and then I feel like that this one is going to be the same situation because he's sort of the last of the core.
Well, yeah. I agree with you, and I think the big thing is they're all hinged on the villain. And Jonathan Majors, so far from what we've seen, looks like he's going to be a great villain as Kang. And
he embodies what I've seen Kang in the comics. I mean, he looks just like him.
Yeah, he brings a very menacing feel to that role. And then that's the way. I mean, if you're going to sell a superhero movie, you need to have a good villain. Typically, Marvel got away with it in its early run because they understand people were looking for comic book movies and they were family event type movies. But now that there's so much out there, you need to really have a good villain to keep people engaged. And so,
I agree. I totally agree. Like Obadiah Stane had his time when Marvel was in its beginning phases, but now we need a Kang.
So last on our list, we had Last of Us Episode 2. Now, do you want to talk about this? Or do you want to hold this off till Friday, Bobo?
I say let's hold off till Friday on it. Because I think there's a little bit to talk about here. So I say if you're cool with that, let's hold off till Friday talking about Last of Us 2, and that'll get us prepped up for what maybe people think is going to happen on Sunday.
Yeah, as Maniac Guardians 3, I think you're probably thinking that because Suicide Squad sucked. It was mid. It was
Mid,
mid.
I'd say. Yeah, it didn't suck.
It wasn't really trash, but it was mid.
It just didn't. There just wasn't enough oomph to it. It was fun and had a good time with it, but I needed more. Like again, you need to watch Peacemaker, but Peacemaker had more of the heart behind it that made me latch onto it and remember it for like later on down the road. Like Suicide Squad had fun, cool moments, but it was.
I don't know how you like Peacemaker when you can't even see the lead actor.
What do you mean?
It's John Cena. You can't see him.
Oh, what do you mean you can't see?
You don't know the whole John Cena thing? You don't know you can't see me thing? You're the only person on the internet who doesn't know that?
No.
So John Cena's big phrase back in the day used to be, you can't see me. And now it's become a running joke. Whenever he does an interview online, you see it on YouTube. The first 500 comments will be like, let's say he's on Jimmy Kimmel. Who's Jimmy Kimmel talking to? I can't even see him or her. You know, that's a big running joke. You can't see that. Anytime John Cena's in anything, the first comments are going to be, I can't see him. I don't know who's there.
Yeah.
Why is this interview talking to nobody? I don't know who's there. You know.
No, I didn't know that. I'm sorry. My fault for not knowing that. But anyways,
as me, like, even I know this joke, Bobby.
Sorry.
Yeah, no. So yeah, I understand you're concerned about Guardians 3, but I think they're all going to die, so it's going to be severe because those people are all leaving these roles. It seems, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think that Rocket will stick around because it's just voicing over, and I think that Groot will stick around because it's just voicing over. Drax
and they're toys, they're good merchandising,
right?
Deal, right?
I think Mantis will go forward. I think Nebula will go forward, and they'll find somebody else that'll hook up. That what'll probably happen is some existing character in the Marvel universe will join the Guardians. That's probably
they're gonna have a new squad of Guardians. They'll probably keep doing the cosmic thing. Why not? You know, maybe do Annihilation Wave or something like that. But that's something where I think they could utilize Disney Plus more for the cosmic universe.
Yeah.
And then just have the mainstream movies be movies, not series, right?
Well, yeah, and sort of lay some groundwork for like, let's see a show about the Skrulls. You know, let's
Space stuff has always worked better on TV than it has in movies. Star Trek is better as TV shows. Star Wars.
You also have time to get into the characters and not just focus. We've only got 2.5 hours, so we better show enough space action scenes. Well, in a show, you don't have to do that. You could get like Star Trek did. You were actually able to get into the characters.
Part of the appeal of space is the atmosphere, being, visiting these distant galaxies, getting to know these distant races, knowing more about this great unknown thing that none of us will ever get to find out about because I ain't going to space anytime in my lifetime. I don't know about you, Bobo. You know,
if I get the money, I might try to do the
thing. Bezos, if you want to take your boy up, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'll be coming along. Actually, I probably won't. I'd be terrified to go on that rocket ship. But yeah, man, I mean, that's one of the reasons Ad Astra was a very mid movie, but
to me, the ending was what sucked about that.
Yeah, but the parts where he's in space, I think are awesome.
Oh yeah, what's Gravity, dude? Gravity.
Yeah,
those moments are like, talk about scary.
So so I think that if they do the Cosmic Marvel Universe, that's what Disney Plus would be for. I think people would like that, and then you just keep these mainstream heroes as part of the main Marvel, and not all of them need TV shows or movies, man.
No, yeah. and also, why don't we do some one shots on Disney Plus?
Yeah, you can do that too.
Do a few one shots. That would work. Everybody loved Werewolf by Night, and they're doing another one shot. Let's do some more.
Have you seen that yet, by the way?
Werewolf by Night.
Yeah.
We talked about that.
Okay. I thought for some reason you hadn't seen it yet. But yeah, that was good.
No, we had talked about how like that's the best thing that's been on Disney Plus.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Well, all right, guys, we've been, this is an hour 18 now, so man, it flew by. I didn't know we were going this long.
No, we had a good time today though. And Derpy, I hope I didn't offend you, man. I really didn't mean to. Just get passionate about Batman. That's all.
Yeah, you know what you can do is you can go hit up Derpy on our Discord. He's on there.
Yeah, I got Derpy on Instagram as well. I'll send him a message.
Well, you need to get him on the Discord so we can get people on the Discord, Bobo.
My fault.
Yeah, so get him on the Discord.
On the Discord.
Also, you guys join us on the Discord as well. Tell you what, before I leave, I'm going to go ahead and post a link for the Discord. Also, what you guys can do is you guys can check us out on the banners at the following sites. You can check us out at Shogun of Cinema on Instagram and Twitter. On Twitter. You can check us out at patreon.com/BrassReel. I keep saying we're going to do a Patreon episode. We will.
Andrew says he's going to try to join us on Friday to maybe do something, but you and I are streaming as well, so we'll see.
The Discord invite is right there in the comments. I just posted it. Go ahead and hit that Discord. That invite will last for 7 days. Join us. Let's get this community rolling. You can leave some comments. We'll throw those comments in the next video. Of course, you can keep joining us live as well. We appreciate that. Facebook.com/BrassReel. Of course, you can see us on TikTok as well. We only have a couple of things up on TikTok, but we'll be upping the content on that right now as well. But then, until next time, just remember, when life gives you lemons,
Make some hot, fresh popcorn.
we out.
Peace. Oh, sorry. I thought I did it right. My fault.